All right, we're live.
We're live. Okay, well, I'm glad we got to kind of do a restart. I beefed up the last recording.
Yeah, you know, this is a family show. I'm not going to say what happened, but we had to reset.
I apologize. Listen, we're all amped up. We're feeling good. Hey, and just in case you didn't know what you just clicked on, you're listening to the Tutty Buddy NFL show. Woo! And today we're talking rankings, right?
We're talking NFL rankings, but we are heading into week 4.
Heading into week 4, we got one game of week 4 down.
I butchered it. I said the Giants are going to win. They should have won.
And I said Cowboys are going to win this one, and I was right. It's the first time I've been right all season, and so we can declare the NFL preseason over, and the NFL season is starting now.
Okay, so
you want to go with bad teams? Is that where we start?
Yeah. So we are going to start with the... How many teams are in the NFL? Is it 31?
I think there's 32 teams.
32. So 32, 31, 30, 29. With the 28th
Yeah,
team.
Start with the... yes, correct. 28th worst team. And this is after week 3.
Correct.
I did not incorporate the Cowboys-Giants game into this.
I haven't touched my rankings.
Okay, good. Just want to make sure we're all on the same page. Who do you have at 28 these days?
I have none other than coming off a big win in week 3, Los Angeles Rams.
Ooh. Okay, Rams are up higher for me, so they're not in my bottom 5.
It's just they haven't been scoring a lot of points, and they've given up a ton. That's a big part of my rankings, obviously.
Yeah, they're very injured too.
They're very injured. I have a good outlook for them.
Yeah,
but currently, right now,
I understand.
You know, so we have a pretty exciting episode coming up. We talk about this game a little more in detail.
Yes.
So I'm not going to say too much, but look for the Bears this week.
Yeah.
Look at the Bears this week.
Just keep an eye out.
Yeah.
Yeah. In my 5th from worst spot, and I'm actually surprised because I thought this team was going to be the worst team all season, but I got the Panthers.
Really?
In 28. Yeah.
Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton led them to a win with a lot more points than I expected.
Yeah.
And
he looked good.
And it shot them up the rankings a little bit. So they are now my 5th worst team instead of my worst
Yeah,
team.
They went up. I mean, you'll see where they are for me.
Okay, 29 then. Next spot.
I have the Titans right there.
Okay, and they are on my list. So
okay,
but
shout out.
They're actually worse than where you have them.
All right.
Titans. Let's talk Titans for a
minute.
minute.
I don't think we need to argue much here. We both agree they're the bottom 5.
They're bad. Do you think they have a chance of getting to at least mediocre this season, or do you think they're going to stay bottom 5?
It's a tough one, man, because looking at who's mediocre, there's a lot of really good teams. So I don't really think they're going to get out of the... I get it. I say bottom 10. Nowhere higher than that.
Yeah, I could see that.
Which, I mean, would that bring you to the middle of the pack, kind of?
Yeah, so, kind of the lower middle of the pack.
Yeah,
so
lower middle.
Yeah, that's fine.
Hey, real quick.
Yeah.
I love doing this with you, buddy.
Hey, I look forward to it all day, every day.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah. My 4th worst team is actually the Bengals.
Whoa.
Where do you got those SOBs?
They're ranked, I think, 22nd.
Okay. So they're a little bit up your list. I have them down further. They just haven't been winning. I mean, their defense looks horrible.
So
their offense looks fine.
I mean, last week it looked fine.
Yeah.
But that was the first time I think it looked good.
That's fair. I just think, and I think we've talked about it, but Joe Burrow is a good quarterback. I don't think of him as a great quarterback anymore. Because I think of great being the guys who make their team better. They raise their team's level. And I think he's good if he's given the pieces, but I don't think...
I think I agree, but I
also don't think this is his fault, the reason they're so low right now.
Yeah, but he doesn't have what it takes to take them to...
Yes.
He's being carried by the team, by the coach.
Yeah.
Whereas some of these other quarterbacks who we adore they're like the yak, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's holding on to their back or whatever, that thing that goes on their shoulders.
I like everything that you're saying.
Yeah.
It's kind of confusing, and I'm not sure if I've ever heard anyone say that before, but I liked it.
Yeah. You heard it here first.
Who is your 30th placed team?
Dolphins, Miami.
Ooh, they have not. Okay, I will say this: they're not good.
Yeah,
they've
terrible.
really plummeted, but they are not in my bottom 5 currently.
I wonder why. Like, how do you not have them in the bottom 5?
That's a good question. I know they are currently tied for 24th place, actually, with the Rams for me.
So they're on the bottom end.
Yeah, they're very low. But I think the main thing is I incorporate wins and losses where you don't. I don't think into your ranking.
I don't
system.
care. I'm caring about points scored. I'm caring about some other things.
Yeah. So because of
That makes sense.
my bottom 5 are teams that mostly haven't.
Or like 0-3.
Yeah, that haven't won.
Yeah.
And so I have the Browns in this spot, who I do think they're bad. Their offense. I mean they.
Yeah. I mean they're just up a couple more for me. I think they're like the 9th or 8th team.
I know that it's difficult because of the money situation, but I think they gotta go to their backup QB.
Who is their backup? Do you know?
I don't even know who they have anymore. They got rid of Joe Flacco because he was
Drop the mic.
too much of a threat to.
Is that what they said?
I mean, I think that was kind of reading between the lines. What he did too well, and they felt like they couldn't have him on the team because the players would be like, "Just put in Joe."
Kind of like the whole Tebow situation everywhere he went.
Yeah. Put in Tebow.
I'm in agreement, dude. I don't think the Browns are anywhere near a good team right now.
Yeah, and I think it's going to take a year. I mean, they were. It's funny because they've been bad our whole lives, pretty much. I can't think of a time really. And then in the last couple years, they got good.
Kind of.
Their defense was good. They had a good run game.
Yeah, and it seems like their defense is not gelling yet.
No.
I think
Myles Garrett.
Yeah, Myles Garrett's having some injuries.
Yeah, I think this year it hasn't looked like what it looked like last year. And they just can never get it all right. You know, like, especially at quarterback. They just can't figure out quarterback.
It makes you kind of think, like, when they picked Johnny Manziel.
Yep.
Probably, what, is that like 7 years ago now?
Yeah, I think so.
Imagine, like, if he actually was dedicated. He had so much skill, but like it came out, everything came out about him where he just didn't care really.
Yeah, he just was like, just pay me, I want to party.
Like imagine if either it was him or it would be cool to look at that draft to see who they could have had instead.
Yeah,
because that was such a turning point, I think, where they missed on him.
Yeah,
and he was a first round pick.
Yeah, it's funny they've had so many first round quarterbacks.
Yeah,
in like the last 20 years, let's say. It just seems. Like, okay, you miss on one, and you go, okay, anyone can miss on one because
everyone
don't really know what you're going to get. But over time, it's like you guys are not good at picking these.
Yeah,
you know, like there's something wrong with their process.
Evaluations are not on point.
Not on point.
So, who do you have?
Who's your runner up?
Yeah, who's your runner up? Who's my runner up?
Do you want mine? I'll just say because we don't need to talk about it. It's the Titans.
Okay, yeah, we've already discussed the Titans.
Yeah,
my runner-up for the worst team in the NFL in through 3 weeks is the Panthers.
Okay, so we both have these bottom 5 teams.
Yeah. There's one more team. Who's your last place team?
I'm very curious to see if we match up on this. Mine's the Jaguars.
Mine is the Jaguars as well.
They are
atrocious.
So bad. It's like I'm shocked that Doug Peterson has not been fired yet.
I saw a meme that said like Doug Peterson, the first coach to get fired at halftime. I was like, oh, okay, good. They made the move. I was like, oh, it's fake. But it was one of those ones where it was like,
you're like, well, maybe they should do that.
Yeah.
They look atrocious, and he's had a lot of years now to try to fix this. I remember like the first couple of years they blamed it on Urban Meyer.
Yep.
They're like, oh, well, you have to bounce back from that. But they've just looked bad.
They have great players, a lot of good players at least, and there's no excuse. If I'm the owner, Khan, right?
Yeah, Shad.
I definitely would have fired Doug Peterson. I don't think Peterson's all that bad. Like I think he's probably a good coach.
Yeah.
But it's just not working.
It's definitely not working. Yeah. So, yeah. I would say this right now, just on the airwaves. Hey, Shad, we would love to co-GM for you.
I don't think I'm interested.
Okay.
They're so bad, man. I'm not even like...
Okay, Andrew's actually going to take his name out of the running. I would love to GM for you. I'm going to tell you right now, my first order of business is going to be to clean house.
Are you relocating?
We are going to relocate also.
Yeah. If you relocate, call me because it's just I don't really want to live in Florida.
No, we're going to go to London.
Yeah, I'm in.
I think we're already kind of set up as a London team.
Okay, sorry, Shad. my hat is back in the ring.
And I mean, we're going to discuss this obviously, but I think Vrabel's probably our first. He's on the short list of coaches.
Yeah.
Then I'll tell you right now, your quarterback's going to change because we can't stand this guy.
I'll tell him this: if he can do a sunshine type thing where he cuts his hair,
oh yeah,
I think he'd play a lot better.
I do. I actually. It's really funny you say that. I was going to text you this week watching that game and say, if Trevor Lawrence shaved his head, do you think he would be good?
Yeah.
And I kind of do too. Yeah. It's like he just needs a change. Yeah. Well, good.
Yeah.
Okay, so worst team in the NFL after 3 weeks? Jaguars.
Yeah.
Jacksonville Jaguars.
I don't anticipate them making a move up out of the top 5 for a long time, if ever, this year.
If they continue to play like this, they're going to continue to be the worst team. I mean, it's atrociously bad. It's crazy to think like I didn't think anyone could be worse than the Panthers. But I think the Jaguars kind of are just because they should be better. Like the Jaguars or the Panthers watching them when they had Bryce Young, it was like, well, they can't do any better than that.
That was so sad.
Yeah, it was just kind of a bummer. But with the Jaguars, it's like you have all the talent that you should be able to do better.
Isn't it kind of funny how Bryce Young is a first round talent?
Yeah,
like he is, right? Yeah. Very talented. It just doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
It's weird.
And I mean, I think everyone should have known maybe that like height and weight matter.
Well, Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, but
he's
I think
tall.
He has things to make up for it, right? Like Bryce Young does not have the scrambling ability or the running ability that Jaden Daniels
You think
does.
I don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah. We're done.
Yeah, let's look at our top ranked teams.
Top ranked teams starting at 10. We'll count down. Do the kind of get some suspense for these guys.
So my 10th best team through 3 weeks of the NFL is the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, interesting. Mine's up significantly higher than that.
The Chiefs are?
Yeah, they're up higher. Yeah. Now, I think 10th actually is probably. I like them at 10.
Is that apropos?
Yeah, I think it's apropos. Because I think you can just tell, like, it's like, well, we've said this over and over again, but they use the first part of the season to figure things out. Like, they're not.
It's weird that they have to, air quotes, figure things out. Like, they've been together for how many years now, all these people?
Yeah, that's what's confusing.
Pieces added in and out, but, like, the core.
Dude, what do you think? Oh, this is kind of my main thing that I was thinking about this week with them. Travis Kelce, do you think he's old and like it's time to be done? He's not doing anything is my reason for the question.
So I think he could be doing more. I think he's sort of like, whether it's him or the coaches, they're kind of like
wait
just
for
trying to save him.
Type thing? Yeah. And I get that. I just think, we got to make Taylor proud too.
I think Taylor doesn't care anymore. They're probably broken up or something.
You think they're over it?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the deal with my 10th place ranking.
Yeah.
I have a tie for 9th, so it takes up kind of the 9th and 10th place spot.
I haven't looked at my tiebreakers.
Okay, yeah.
So technically, my 4th and 5th are tied for 4th.
Okay.
So the Lions might be my 10th.
Okay.
They're 11th, but.
Oh, then no, because I think that's good. Because, I mean, if I were to bring in my 11th as my 10th, that would be the Eagles. But I'm going to just say I don't have a 10th. I have 2 9ths.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about 9s.
Wait, who's your 10?
I don't have a 10 because I have 2 9s.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, kind of like I said something that you were like, huh? And you just said something where I'm like,
yeah, it's kind of fun when we don't. Listen, just because we're Tutty Buddies doesn't mean we always understand each other.
No, not always.
And it's it's important to Tutty Buddy Nation and Tutty Buddy World, International. Guys, communication's key. You got to keep talking with your friends.
Yes.
You got to discuss. You got to get down to the brass tacks.
Well, and here's a little teaser. One of my friends might be on this next episode.
Yeah, and I think he will be.
And I think he's Nikolai's friend too now.
Great friend.
Yes.
One of my best friends.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about 9th place.
Jets.
Oh, interesting. I also have them on here very close, but not in 9th. I have a tie, like I said. Chargers, Lions.
Yeah.
Okay, of those 3 teams, if you only had one spot to give away as 9th place, who do you give it to? Which of them is most deserving?
Are we talking? So Jets, Lions, and what's the third team?
Chargers.
Chargers. Oh, Chargers. That's a really hard question, man. I think
Who do you think is most likely to stay in the top 10? We'll put it that way, because they're all kind of fringe top 10 right now. Who's the most likely to stay up there?
I think the Chargers are least likely, and I hate to say it.
I agree. And it's just the injuries. Yeah. I think losing the 2 linemen and Herbert, even if they come back right away, I think those things linger, and I'm worried about it.
That loss to the Steelers was like not season ending, or
it seemed
it took a hit.
It seemed definitive. I don't know really even how to describe that.
The thing that sucks, man, is they got the Chiefs coming up. So I'm hoping for an upset, but Air Jordan, who you're going to meet in the next episode, said no to me off air.
Yeah, he said it.
So,
are you okay?
I don't know.
Yeah, things are hard.
Yeah.
Okay, so then of the Lions or the Jets, who do you think is better? We'll just put it that way.
That's a tough question, too. I think they're pretty closely matched.
Yeah.
And I'll say the Lions.
I think so, too. I think the Lions are the best of those 3 teams currently. Mm-hmm. And I also feel like I'm the least worried about injuries with the Lions.
I think they just have more depth. They have a little more maturity.
Yeah. Maybe a little bit of like they've been there because of last year.
Been there, done that last year.
All right, give me your 8th place.
Cardinals.
I don't have them in my top 10. Do you think they're a for real top 10 or?
No.
Okay.
No, they're that team that has some flash in the pan.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the year, and then they're mediocre towards the end.
Yeah.
So sorry. I mean, Arizona is a big part of our life here. In the Southwest.
They're neighbors.
Yeah.
State-wise.
It's just not gonna. They're not gonna be there.
No.
Maybe even next week they might be out.
I think I agree with that. I think they had that one game where they scored like 41 points. And I think that's what makes them look better as far as rankings go. But I don't think they're a great team.
And I will just say this real quick before we go to your number 8 or whatever. My top 3 are pretty definitive. After my top 3, it's a pretty big drop. And then, so I would say 4 through 10. It's kind of like, all these people are going to move up and down.
Yeah.
But the top 3 right now are pretty
locked in.
Well, they just have outperformed the rest.
Yeah.
Not meaning that they're going to be top 3 for the rest of the year by any means. But so far, they have outperformed everyone.
I tend to agree with that, looking at mine. My top 3 are pretty solid. Actually, I would say top 2, really. But we'll get to those.
Yeah.
Okay, so 8 for me. I have a tie at 7 again, so I don't have an 8th place. So we'll talk about 7s.
Okay.
So I'll start off with mine, but I would like to hear yours. I have Packers and Jets tied at 7.
Yeah, I have Packers are my 7.
Okay, so which is insane because they lost Jordan Love after game 1, and they've actually been great.
So what does that tell you?
I think Matt LaFleur might be the best coach in the NFL currently.
Coach of the year. Prediction.
I just think we kind of have alluded to this. He should get more praise, but I think he's making a case I think he's the best there is right now.
Yep. No doubts.
Would you take any coach over him currently?
So there might be sexier ones or whatever, but you're being kind of an idiot if you don't take him.
I think so too. Like there's I love Jim Harbaugh and I love DeMeco Ryans.
Yeah.
But just the results, Matt LaFleur is the guy, he's winning with anything. Like you give him anything and
he kind of won, he won with Aaron Rodgers. Everyone was like, "Oh, it's Rodgers," but no, I don't think it really was. I mean, yes, Rodgers is amazing.
Yeah.
He was fantastic. But LaFleur is the best coach probably in the NFL.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think even now that we know what Rodgers is like, he was able to manage him.
Exactly.
Which is like kind of a miracle in itself.
So number 7 for me is Packers, and it's a tie. What was it again? Packers and...
I have Jets as my other 7.
Packers and Jets. Okay, and we talked about the Jets.
Out of the 2, who do you think's better?
I think the Packers as a team.
I think so too. But I think that's almost entirely because of coaching. Like if you just gave me the 2 rosters, I would say the Jets roster's better probably.
I don't even know though.
Oh really?
I don't know.
I think it's just because the Packers are so young roster wise that I go, okay, from week to week I'm not really sure what I'm going to get. But then when you have them with LaFleur, you're like, I'm pretty sure what I'm going to get, and that's going to be good.
I think the Packers are built better, like holistically, to go through a year, whereas the Jets, a couple key injuries and they're back to the bottom.
No, that's absolutely true. definitely the Jets are the flashier roster.
Yeah.
Where they have like those big dollar value signings, big names, whatever.
Big dollar value signings?
Like a high, a lot of money.
A lot of money. Okay.
Okay, big deal. Big whoop. Let's talk about number 6. Who you got?
So the Chargers are right there for me.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
They have somehow stayed in that top ranking.
That's really impressive. Mm-hmm. I think it's got to be because
defense.
Yeah. They have not allowed opponents to score very much.
Yeah,
and that's actually why my number 6 is Steelers.
Yeah, Steelers are just a little bit high. They're even higher than that for me.
And I was actually surprised because, like I said, my rankings do take into account wins and losses.
Well, they're 3-0,
and they're 3-0. But there are teams that have lost that are actually above them still. Yeah, and I think it's just because they haven't scored a ton. But their defense is so good.
So here's a question: since I have the Chargers, you have the Steelers there.
Steelers,
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so who going forward is going to stay in the top 10? Let's make a case for it because one of them has to.
No, you're absolutely right. I want it to be the Chargers, but with the injuries, I'm very concerned.
Yeah.
And the Steelers, their defense looks great, but their offense is like, I go like, how long can your defense carry you like this?
So that's why I'm going to say Chargers.
Yeah.
Because they have, also here's another part of it. Mike Tomlin towards the end of his tenure as a coach. Jim Hart, for that organization.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Jim Harbaugh coming in, indoctrinating them into the Harbaugh way. And we already saw success the first 2 weeks, and then they went back to earth a little bit. But I think he's one of the best coaches.
I agree.
Even if they lose to the Chiefs, they're going to still have a really good season.
Yeah.
And they have the offensive firepower to be in games to win against the Chiefs, whereas the Steelers, I don't think do.
That's true. I totally agree with that. And I'll say, even on top of that, I think the Chargers have one of the easiest schedules in the NFL this year, and I think the Steelers have one of the hardest.
Interesting.
So, I think if I had to bet on the two, I would say the Chargers are going to trend up as the season goes. Steelers might
flatten out.
I don't think I'd trend down. I think they'll just flatten out.
And other teams will overtake them, possibly.
Possibly.
Yeah.
And there's just got to be some regression. Right now, their defense is playing out of their mind. So
TJ
good.
Watt.
It's crazy.
Fifth,
I have... who do you have?
Seahawks.
Okay, I have the Saints.
Okay.
Saints dropped from my my number 1 spot
to number 5,
but down to number 5.
So Saints they didn't drop as much as on my list as they did on yours.
Okay. I think their first 2 games were basically both blowouts.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one was like a very low scoring loss, and I think that kind of killed them.
Mm-hmm.
But you said Seahawks?
Yeah.
Okay, I actually have them up higher.
They're surprising me.
Me too, and I just... so I guess these 2 teams, for me, my question for both of them is are they for real?
I think the Seahawks are more for real than the Saints.
What's your thought? Why? Why do you think that?
I don't know, man. It seems like they have more to work with.
I think that Mike McDonald is a better coach.
Yeah.
Than...
Well, here's the deal.
Yeah.
We're hearing more about this offensive coach in the Saints. And it's like,
Kubiak.
Oh, Dennis Allen is still the coach, but he's just kind of there. The reason they're succeeding is because offensive coach. But in the Seahawks land, it's like Mike McDonald has brought this regime, this whole culture. He's a culture builder.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think pretty much everyone across the board is just baffled by the Saints. What's happening right now?
They're I'll just give you a little sneak peek. I predict something in the next episode about the Saints.
Yeah, you sure do.
Yeah, so go ahead and get on that episode after this one.
If they played right now, who do you think wins?
Seahawks. By a touchdown.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Why?
I think the Saints win. I think their offense, when it's clicking, can out. I think, okay, this is why I guess where I'm going with this. I think in this moment, the Saints are kind of hot. But I think as the season goes, the Seahawks will get better and the Saints will get worse.
You are so down on my Eagles.
Yeah.
My Eagles just held your Saints to 12 points.
That's a great point.
And you're telling me that these hot Saints are going to go to Seattle or wherever, Dallas, playoff site, and torch the Seattle defense. So you're saying Seattle's defense is worse than the Eagles' defense?
I think that they are very well schemed up by Mike McDonald, but I don't think their players necessarily. Yeah. I don't think their rosters.
They don't really scare you, right?
No. So I think like 2 years from now, that Seahawks team's going to be legit.
Man, yeah, I'm excited to see that.
But I think right now he's doing a lot with like not very much.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
I get you, buddy, and I think you're wrong about the Saints.
I do too. I think they're. Like I said, I think as the season goes, they're going to get worse. Like people are going to figure them out, and then they'll be normal again.
Yeah. Also, like maybe an injury or something, right? I mean, just stuff happens. I don't know if you heard that.
Yeah, that's a snap. It could happen just like that.
And a Thanos snap.
And I got to say, I just don't trust Derek Carr at all.
No. Who does?
Yeah. Just don't. If you do, don't.
No, he's weird, man.
Let's talk 4. Let's talk 4th place. Right outside the medals.
Steel City.
Okay, so this is where you have the Steelers. I have the Chiefs here.
Wow.
So out of those two teams, do you think the Chiefs are better than the Steelers? I think on our previous conversation, do you feel that way?
I do, but
yeah,
right. It's like I don't feel great about the Chiefs. They're a great team, but they're not like.
I kind of think that right now, if they played, the Steelers could shut down the Chiefs' offense.
Yeah, I agree.
Like Mahomes is great, but the way that Steelers have been playing defense. I think they would have. I think it would be a very defensive game. We'll put it that way.
But you know what sucks, man, is the Chiefs would win.
Yeah.
In the last second, like they just would.
Let's have this conversation since it's been out on the interwebs.
Okay.
A lot of people saying the Chiefs are paying these refs.
Oh well, I like the meme of Patrick kissing the ref. Yeah. I love that meme.
Yeah. I don't think that's the case. I know there's a lot of people who are like, "Oh, Chiefs." I think they get a lot of calls, and I think what it is just the refs are so bad.
Yeah,
like they're just below calls constantly.
Well, did you see the one last night with the Dallas and New York, and he's like face mask for the wrong team?
Yeah, just like constantly, like what is happening? I just don't. We've ranted about refs before, but it's so bad.
I don't want to get worked up. Can we move on?
We're gonna move on.
Yeah.
Hey, let's talk about that bronze medal for week 3. Who takes the bronze?
Have you heard of the Twin Cities?
Yeah. Which 2 are they?
Is that Minnesota? Twin Cities?
It is Minnesota.
Okay, yeah.
I think one is.
I don't know, Minneapolis and
maybe St. Paul.
St. Paul.
Hey, if you're a fan and you're in one of those Twin Cities, would you just tell us?
Yeah, because the Vikings are number 3 on my power rankings.
Okay, I have them up higher. I actually have the Seahawks in 3.
Okay, well, I mean the Steelers separated those two somehow, barely.
And I do think out of those 2, I would say the Vikings could currently beat the Seahawks. Vikings look great.
Yeah, it's kind of a confusing one, but they look amazing.
Is Sam Darnold good? I think I asked it the last 3 weeks on this show.
I think he's always been good. You know, it's just now he finally has the coach to believe in him.
Yeah, I think what we're finding more and more with quarterbacks is the situation matters more than the guy. Like I almost now believe like anyone can be good given the right situation.
Yeah, like I mean Brock Purdy, you put him in any situation besides what he's in, I don't think he's that good.
No.
I just like seeing Sam Darnold though in interviews and stuff, he seems so much more confident.
Yeah.
And it makes me really happy for him.
Yeah, I'm very happy for him too. I think he got made fun of for a long time.
Yep. Not by us, I don't think.
I don't think we made fun of him, but I also don't think I cared about him at all.
If we did, we're sorry. Because
I know for sure I said he was bad.
Uh-oh.
I don't think that's making fun. That's just
it's just. I mean, we don't lie here. We say the truth. So
we're just saying true things. Okay, silver medal.
Saints.
Oh wow, the Saints are up high for you.
It's just because of what they've done.
Yeah, it's the first 2 games.
Oh yeah, I hate it.
Okay, I have the Bills here.
Bills. Okay, well they're my number 1 team.
Okay,
newsflash.
Bills look phenomenal.
Wait a second. I'm trying to figure out who your number 1 team is.
Do you want to guess?
Oh wait, it's the Vikings.
It's the Vikings.
Yeah, okay. I was like, because I thought I just said it, but you didn't.
Yeah, no, I have Vikings at 1,
Cities.
Bills at 2. Yeah, Twin Cities again. Great job. Yeah. Bills look really good.
Yes, So I did my power rankings. I sorted it, and the Bills weren't there, and I realized I made a mistake.
Oh,
and I went back and I double checked everything, and I restored it. I was like, okay,
you're like, oh,
good.
Thank God. Yeah. Here's my hunch on why, because everything.
Well, before you get to it, it's Haley.
Well, you're right. It's Haley Steinfeld first and foremost.
Yeah. Now get to your. But
now the
talk.
other thing, the other kind of minor thing that's helping, I think. It looks like watching that game, like they're having so much fun together.
Yeah.
And I think that's because
someone's gone.
They got rid of a certain someone.
Yeah.
Star wide receiver now on the Texans, who's not doing so hot anymore on offense. And I think I'm kind of shocked, to be honest.
Josh Allen said something about like, it's just so fun to play football when people just like are having fun and don't care about basically saying like Stephon was crying about getting the ball all the time, and now no one's doing that.
Yeah. It seems like, he was throwing it to every person when they were playing the other night. Like, there were guys I was like, I don't even understand how this is another new receiver, because how many do they have?
Yeah. Also, man, I think we might need to relook at Sean McDermott a little bit. We've kind of been a little tough on him.
We were kind of mean to him.
And so I don't know if you heard this, but I think it's Keon Coleman, the rookie, right?
Yeah.
So Sean sat him for the first quarter. Did you know that?
I did know that.
You know why?
No.
He said he needs to learn how to show up on time.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I like that
Sean,
a lot.
You're kind of...
that's one way to win back our admiration.
Yeah, because we would never show up late to anything, Sean.
No. We would show up
early.
At least 30 minutes early, pretty much.
Bare minimum.
Every time.
Minimum. Yes.
We do that in our day-to-day life. Right? We show up everywhere very early and just sit in our cars usually. I really love that.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of coaches in the NFL are like afraid to pull a guy for something like that.
Not Sean.
No. I like that. I really like that Bills team, and I like that they seem to really enjoy playing together. It seems like it's made them better.
Yeah. Hey, can we do a little exercise?
Yeah.
So look at between, let's say 11 through 25-ish.
Yep.
Who in that group that's not in the top 10 is going to be in the top 10? Not necessarily next week, but let's say looking forward a month.
Okay.
So 49ers, you think got to go up, right?
Well, I was going to say, give them enough time to heal up, get some guys back. They'll be up there. Where do you have them right now?
They are at 12, so just outside.
I have them at 17. So, but that's because they've had fluky, like weird. Their records 1 and 2 right now.
Yeah, well, that's like bizarre. So the Ravens are 18 for me. Where are they for you?
So I have the Ravens at 21, and they were another one of the ones that I was.
Yeah, I almost think the Ravens are going to catapult faster than the 49ers.
I agree with that. Last week the Ravens, I had them at 28, and they're at 21 now.
Yeah,
and I think they're just going to keep.
So do you keep a record of each week where they were?
I do.
That's smart. I need to start doing that.
It's a fun thing to do, kind of look at their trajectory.
Yeah.
The only other one that I was going to say, but honestly I have the least faith in these guys, is the Texans, but they got to figure out their offense. It's not looking good.
They're really low for me.
Yeah. Where do you have them?
26.
Okay, I have them at 15 right now, but they were 7 last week, and they dropped 8 spots.
Yeah.
So their offense just doesn't... Bobby Slowick is their offense coordinator, and it just looks kind of...
Slow.
It doesn't look like it's working this year.
What's interesting is, a lot of people kind of put a lot of weight into offensive-minded coaches like the McVays and stuff. And I think the head coach, it really is important that they're offensive-minded, even if you have a really good offensive coordinator.
Yeah. I think you're right. I honestly... so here's a question. It's kind of on that same topic.
Yeah.
If you're putting it together a coaching staff, do you want a situation where you have an offensive-minded head coach who was like an offensive coordinator, a defensive one, or like a
John Harbaugh type.
like kind of a middle, more of a I don't know how to even put that, like a vibes coach almost.
I think for sure offensive-minded.
Okay.
With where we are right now in the league.
Yeah. So you would go like an Andy Reid almost.
Yeah.
Like that kind of idea.
I mean, it's like, Kyle Shanahan, let's say
there
that
you go.
instead.
Okay.
Well, LaFleur.
Yeah, LaFleur's is that too. I think I'm tempted to go like I kind of want a vibes guy. And
Do you want Nick Sirianni?
No, he's the worst example of it.
But that's what I mean.
But you're right.
So John Harbaugh is one.
My idea was Tomlin.
Tomlin is one.
And then kind of you get the best. The problem with a lot of them, what gets them is they hire bad coordinators. That it's like, what are you doing? But if you got like a good guy who can establish a culture and then get good coordinators, then that's kind of the perfect.
I kind of think in Sirianni's case, it's an ego thing where he's probably like, oh no, like I'll get these random coordinators in, and I can bring them up. It's whereas someone like Tomlin, he's like, I don't care, just get the best of the best. Which actually, I don't know if he is a good example of getting good coordinators.
He's been bad at it in the past.
Let's say John Harbaugh.
Yeah, John Harbaugh would be the I think probably the best example of it.
Yeah.
And how I go back and forth on John.
Yeah.
But I think he is the absolute best example of this thing that we're talking about.
Are we ready to wrap this episode of our week 3 rankings?
I think so.
Is this week 3 or week 4 rankings? Technically week 4 going from week 3.
Yeah, I think I would call them my week 3 rankings.
But I think when I title this episode, I think it's going to say week 4.
Well, then they're the week 4 rankings.
Yeah. Right? Because I think less.
Yeah, because they're reflecting on the 3rd week. Anyway.
Yeah. We'll figure this out.
Hey, we're so glad you listened to us.
So thankful.
So thankful.
Friday.
Can't wait to see where these go as the season develops.
Yeah.
Any last thoughts?
Just really happy today to be here.
Just what a blessing.
Yeah.
#blessed.
#blessed.
And we love you, Teddy Buddy.
See you guys next week.
International.